One of the things with this major project is that things sort of move around the priorities of what needs to be done according to when things get under your feet and when they annoy you enough to do them. And these tiles, which will become part of the path, had just annoyed me enough. They was the next thing to be moved out of my way for the major job of mixing concrete. They're not complete tiles, they're cut off remnants of tile. But the thing about a job like this, it gives you plenty of time to stop and think. You know, my right hand is quite happily smashing tile. Doesn't require a lot of mental agility, and you reflect on things that you've seen and listened to and learnt. Now, this morning I watched a video on YouTube posted by Bishop John Barron. I don't know how many of you know who Bishop John Barron is, but he's pretty much the current sort of spokesman for the Roman Catholic Church in the good old United States of America. I listen to him. I think he talks a lot of sense most of the time. I don't agree with everything he says, but I'm sure that won't upset him too much. But he was talking about something that he's found quite shocking, quite upsetting to him. I think he sees it as a bit of a personal failure. There's been a survey by an organisation called the Pew Research organisation, and they found that 75% of people in America who say they are Roman Catholics do not believe that in the Eucharist the wafer and the wine, the elements of the Eucharist, really are the body and blood of Christ. Now, I don't really want to get into that argument. You know, I've got my views on it. Most of you will have, some of you will have views which will be different to mine. Some of you may have no view on it at all. And that's not really what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to think about, or what I have been thinking about, is this idea that people say they're something without really stopping to think, stopping to understand what it is they think they mean by what they said they are. You know, if someone says they're a Roman Catholic, then a Southern Baptist will assume that they believe Roman Catholic doctrine, and they could get in all sorts of an argument, and the Southern Baptist pastor might say, you know, do you really believe that the elements of the Eucharist are the body and blood of Christ? And, well, according to the research, 75% of identifying Roman Catholics in America would say, no, I don't. Now, that's not a problem to me, probably not really a problem to anyone. But how many things do we say without really thinking about? How many things, you know, what are the big debates in... We'll stick with American society because there's debates in British society that I find too difficult to talk about without getting quite emotional and irritated. You know, how many Americans say that they are, for example, pro-life or pro-choice? Do they think that abortion should be allowed or not allowed? How many of them actually stop to think and think through the consequences? And when they make a pronouncement, do they believe every aspect of what they've just said, or are they just going with an emotional level headline position? It's possibly too painful today to talk about gun control in the world, in the United States. And it's fair to say that us Brits don't understand enough of the argument to really have anything worthwhile to contribute. But are people who say they are pro-gun or pro-Second Amendment, do they stop and think about everything that means? And those who say, well, we're not, we're in favour of gun control or gun banning, gun prohibition, the prohibition of concealed carry, the prohibition of 100-round magazines, do those people stop and think about the consequences, the effects of the choices that they may be making through perhaps a democratic ballot, through a democratic vote possibly, or through what they say on Twitter? Do people stop and think through the consequences? Do they understand when they join with a movement? Do they understand what that movement truly represents? Or do they just say, yeah, I agree with that, and then watch the Red Sox